YouTubers. I've decided to abandon the minute format for my videos just because it's too constraining, and I don't want to work off notes. I don't have any notes, and I don't plan to in the future, so this will be my first of the new, well, not the new format, well, new for me format of just kind of talking off the top of my head. Maybe it'll be interesting. And I was thinking that, you know, I don't, that how I was, looking back on my old video, my last video, how nervous I am if people will like it or if I should even be doing them, and I feel like I'm gonna do them anyway, so I shouldn't care if people like them, even though it'd be good if they did, but that's, that's your business, not mine, you know what I mean? So, anyway, work was alright. Yeah, I got to work on time today, so that's good. But man, I have jingle bells coming out of my ears. They started that Christmas music November 1st. Well, actually November 2nd, but they started that music, Christmas music, and it's non-stop. And I couldn't tell you how many times I heard every different version of Jingle Bells there are. Deck the Halls, all of them. Not that I really mind because I kind of like Christmas music, so. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Just a little break. My roommate just needed me to help him carry something. So I was talking about work and Christmas music. By the way, my favorite Christmas album is, of course, the Jackson 5 Christmas album. So, and before that I was talking about how I didn't care, whatever, but, I mean, I still care, but I know I shouldn't care, so I'll try to keep that in my mind and stuff. Well, today I thought I'd give you a little bit of my background, just, to introduce myself, tell you, so you'll learn a little more about me. I'm 22. I was born in New Bedford, Mass. And my parents didn't divorce, which is rare, I guess, these days. Yeah, I lived with my grandparents when I was younger. I think from around like the age of 6 to maybe 8 or 9 or something like that. Just because my parents were going through some things, and I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters. Well, I have 2 brothers and a sister with my parents, and then a half sister from my father and some other lady, whatever. Well, actually, the story is, but I guess during that time I was living with my grandparents. My parents had separated, and my father got together with some woman and had a baby, and I think because of that, probably my parents got back together, and that's how my brother Ricky was conceived, so to speak. So, and then after that, I'm not looking at notes, I'm just thinking, I swear. So after that, that was my brother Ricky, and in '89, I think, and then my brother Melissa, my sister, was born a few years later. Once Ricky was born, they had gotten back together, and I think we had moved back. Me and my older brother Ben had moved, which was 3 years older than me, had moved in back together. And yeah, then Melissa in '91, and yeah, that's my family. And I also, as a side note, I had lived with my grandparents on my mother's side. Okay, and then on my father's side, I have maybe 3 or 4 uncles or whatever. On my mother's side, I have 1. Anyway, and 1 aunt and an uncle, but that's another story. Yeah, my father's side is kind of the weird side. My grandfather's kind of infamous for having several animals in his I think my father still has a newspaper clipping of when the city had ordered him to remove the animals out of his backyard. I think he had something like 2 sheep and chickens and all sorts of animals. And I've also heard stories of him having an underground, a black market pet store in his basement. So that must have been interesting. And yeah, that's that side of the family. Well, he has actually passed away. He died of AIDS maybe, I don't know, maybe must have been 10 years ago. I presume from sharing a dirty needle. And yeah, my grandmother on that side had died maybe 10 years even before that from cancer. I'm not sure what kind. I think breast cancer. And my other uncles are alright. One has actually AIDS from also sharing a dirty needle. I don't think with my grandfather. Not that that's funny, but that's that's a kind of a little short, brief history of my family. Yeah. All right. Like That's enough for now. That's enough for this post. So, see you guys later. Actually, one more thing, tubers. Excuse me. You may be wondering my inner feelings on the death of my grandfather or whatever. But quite frankly, I really didn't know him that well. I really never spent time with him except, at a family get together, he'd be there, and you know what I mean. I'd be there, but I was young that time. But I really don't have any, pain from it. My the death of my grandfather on my mother's side, a little before that, maybe a year and a half or 2 years before the death of my other grandfather, that was more painful. As you know, I had lived with him, so, I had known him, and we were close and things like that. But I'll talk about all that another time. But just wanted to clarify that in case you were wondering. I just kind of mentioned it off, like as a side note almost to the family story, but that's why I really didn't know. Excuse me. And alright, bye. I think this time is